Alright, so what I've been doing here is getting this guy going. I'm about to test fit it to make sure this is still going to fit. Negatives are connected here to the middle, running off a single strand, which should be good enough. Then each of these is going to go to the flicker of a different pulsator. There may be two different ways I can achieve that flicker, one unorthodox and one standard. If I can get the unorthodox going or explore a second unorthodox option, then I'll definitely be doing that. So this should remain relatively tight piece, and a major design note is that these tubes, or the danger towers is what I've been calling them, on the set there were 3 individual bulbs inside each one. Each of those bulbs was firing at a different time. That was supported on a single tube structure going down, and I think there may have been a little detail around the edge there, which I'm going to be skipping, it looks like. Maybe I can still install it, we'll see. However, LEDs are 2 legs, so there has to be a way to hide one of the legs. One option is to cut a little bit of tube that tall, set one leg of the LED through that, set the other LED leg behind that, and drill a hole through for the extra leg. That's probably the slightly more elegant version. In this case, the shell is going to be fixed, so it's only going to be seen from this version here or so. So in this case, even though the legs are parallel, it's only going to be seen from approximately this angle or so. So I'm feeling pretty safe that I'll be able to get away with this visual trickery. We'll see how it works out in real life though. So everything is all set. It looks like I'll be running all these fibers off to the main sequencers to get that all flashing. Cool whites or warm whites, I'll see what has the more options. And I may still use a pulsator to drive at least one of these blinking, even though it's really fast. Alright, so what I've been working on here is installing the 2 red LEDs into the danger towers, or to represent the danger towers rather. The legs are kicked off to the middle and they run off this central negative line, and then each of these positives is going to run to one pulsator, so they'll have different flickering effects offset to each other. Because of the nature of all 6 LEDs that are involved with the blinking, there's still going to be repeating patterns where they do match up, but it's going to take a while, and it should look good, I think. So a design note here is that on the set, each of these caps encapsulated 3 different light bulbs, basically like little Christmas bulb size things. Each of those was firing at a different time, so it always looked like one of them was flashing somewhere. There's no way to do that with a single LED, though I suppose it could be done with fiber optics now that I'm thinking of it, and if I do this again, that's exactly the way to do it. Take 3 fiber optics. I could even still do that, I guess, just by popping these out of here. Maybe I'll do a quick test. But essentially, take 3 fiber optics, cut them to a different size, put them into clear shrink tubing, and throw that down a tube. Let's see if I can do that, because that would be far superior. And in that case, I would paint these red and do white LEDs inside. However, if I don't do that, the design note is that on the set, this piece of glass was basically standing on a single tube. There's 2 ways to install this, therefore, in this case. In that case, put one leg of the LED down inside the tube and the other leg behind the tube. That way it's pretty much invisible. In my case, since I'm sealing the upper shell, the only angles that this is going to be visible from will be from approximately here to here. And I think in that case, just leaving the two bare legs exposed is the easier route, and it should be a bit of visual trickery that should work out. If it doesn't in a test, then I can go with a different route, and I will be exploring that fiber optic option, because that's a really good idea. Therefore, next. Alright, so this is just a test here. I think that'll collapse a little too sharp. So the idea here is that I'll have 3 different blinking points of light inside of here. That's about as far as that's going. Oh, hey, here we go. The immediate downfall to the design is that 3 of these for a 1/8. Let me check how close these are to a fit. This is a little big. Let's see how. The other downside is that it does form to the 3 different levels. However, if I can get another piece and then have this become, no, that's just too tight. So this one's a little too thick. This one would be just as bad. And if that's 1.5 millimeters, then this is 1 millimeter. I need 3 points, I don't need more, which makes me worry about this, because this is going to shrink down to a pretty good size. Alright, so here's the next idea. Fiber optics are in bloom. It's a little better. So now I'll set these at 3 different heights. These are called snips. You can get them at a place like Joann Fabrics. They're really good for fine cutting. Much better. Okay, let me see if I can get a test on camera here. That lamp is a little too bright. 3 different levels show up in person. It's a little difficult to show. Oh, there we go. Hey, you know what? Each of those blinking independently from the side like that. Yeah, definitely yeah. Screw those LEDs. Those are coming out of there. Now it's a question of scale, unfortunately. Let's see if I can get away with this. Let's see what I can get here. Looking at 0.234 inches or 6 millimeters. I need to get that down to 4 millimeters. Wow. That is tight. That is very, very tight. So my idea here next is that, actually, have a look at this real close. And that's with 1/8 inch clear tubing slipped over the edge. 6 millimeters, got to cut it down 2 millimeters. Which means I'll have to make another prototype and squeeze these a little closer. That one doesn't work. Cool. This is great. This is the way to do it. So this is pretty much going to be right next to each other the whole way. You want to get a nice big bloom on these. I had been using a lighter or candles. I just happened to have this chisel tip, soldering tip there. And lo and behold, chisel tip soldering iron tips are freaking awesome for blooming fiber optics. I happen to be running it 380 Celsius, definitely hot, even for soldering terms. There we go. It's like 4 1/4 millimeters tall. This is also too thick for one of the posts. So what my idea here is that next, if this is really to succeed, slice it off, hook up 3 smaller diameter fiber optics to it, 0.75s or 0.5s, hope they match, and hope they never fall apart ever, because there would be no way to really secure them. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I could paint 2 of these black, one of them silver, drill extra holes for them to minimize their look, or one larger hole perhaps. I'll have to take a look at the piece. I think that's the way to go. Paint 2 of them black so they kind of pass for the background, then one of them silver to make it look like there's only one running up there. The black will also block out any extra light coming through, so I can in fact run these for like feet long, and I'll in fact have to. So 1 foot each, freaking brilliant. Freaking brilliant. Well, let's not pop that out yet. I still would like to test this to see how it would have looked. In fact, I pretty much have to. However, for the moment, let's pursue some fiber optic options. Paul at thefiberopticstore.com. All your fiber optic needs. Paul at thefiberopticstore.com. But at definitely different heights, and I still don't know if this idea is really going to work. Oh, right. Never mind. I do know. It is. Haha. With so much clear stuff hanging around on the desk, it gets real easy to lose stuff. Oh, I may have mushroomed these a little too much. Oh, there we go. Technically you're blooming, but in this case, I put so much of a droop on them that they're pretty much overhanging like a mushroom would. One of the things I've been asked is if it's safe to use heat shrink with fiber optics, and I'd say the answer is probably yeah. So this is real close, but not close enough. The additional heat shrink is too much for it. Maybe I can melt it down a little more. Hey, perfect. Where's the danger ball? Yeah, they're still a little big, but that's nice. Well, it's got it down to just about 4 millimeters. Really, I could go another full millimeter down.